Welcome to Permission to Kick Ass, the show that gives you a virtual seat at the bar for the real conversations that happen between entrepreneurs. I'm interviewing all kinds of business owners, from those just a few years into freelancing to CEOs helming 9-figure companies. If you've ever worried that everyone else just seems to get it and you're missing something or messing things up, this show is for you. I'm your host, Angie Coley, and let's get to it. Hey, and welcome back to Permission to Kick Ass. With me today is my new friend, Jacki. Hey, say hi.
Hello there. How are you doing today?
I am great. It is a lovely long evening. We're talking at 8:30 my time, 7:30 your time, but I love doing this. So, man, what a great way to cap off an evening.
No kidding.
Well, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
I am a business consultant and strategist, and I partner with coaches and program creators to create hustle-free business strategies and bring on support so that they can launch their group programs.
Ooh, that is nice. That is super nice. What got you into doing this work?
Oh, it's a long and winding tale. Having to do with years and years of not knowing what I was going to do with myself, jobs where I was bored, and COVID sending everybody home. So I would say that I've been everything from an animal hospital receptionist to a director of education programs at a science museum, to grad student services at a university. All the while I was dabbling in the online world. Started my first blog and email list in 2008 and was following, the big B school launches and Amy Porterfield telling you about how to sell Facebook ads. So that far back in the day. And I just couldn't stop putting myself in the online world. And I dabbled a little bit in personal training and doing online blogging for that and a little bit of website design and stumbled across this thing called a virtual assistant. And when COVID started to lighten up and my job said, come on back to the office, I said, now is the time. I am not going back into the office. I'm going to just dive on in and try out this virtual assistants thing that I had heard about. And I got a position with an agency and quickly discovered that I loved it, except my zone of genius wasn't in the day-to-day implementing of tasks and doing. What I loved to do was help my clients strategize and come up with plans. Nice. And they kept asking me to do that. And I was doing less and less of completing tasks and spending most of my hours helping them come up with plans. And a little Google search told me of this thing called an online business manager. And I thought, well, that sounds better. And it just has continued to evolve from there. So.
Oh, that's amazing. I was scribbling down so much as I was listening to you talk. Like, first of all, for everybody listening, years and years of not knowing what I wanted to do. I feel like that's something that almost everybody I've talked to on this show has in common. So like, hey, if you're on your 20th job of your lifetime and you're like, this one doesn't feel right either, maybe something even better is coming that you can use those skills for. I love it. I've done everything from like firefighting to picking up trash to data entry to bartending. So like, I totally feel you on that. Sold a credit card on the floor of Home Depot during the worst economic recession until like basically whatever's coming. So
that had to be painful.
Oh God, I had so many people screaming at me like, do you know the interest rates? And I'm like, sir, I just work here. I did not actually create the bank that set the rates for this. Like, it's my job to sell you a credit card, dude. What do you want from me? Just say no. And so I love that, a jack of all trades, dabbling in stuff. Like, to me, that speaks to someone who took a little bit of an attitude of experimentation of like, oh, I don't know what I want, but I'll try a bunch of different things until I figure it out. Would you say that's true?
That is true. I think I am a born scientist. And I was raised as a scientist. I went into science for my first, career teaching people from the ages of 3 to 80 about science. And so it's really just kind of ingrained in who I am. And that's really how I approach everything I do in my business and how I help my clients see their business. Because if you look at it that way, there's no such thing as a failure. There's always an experiment and there's data to collect and then lessons to learn.
I love that. I heard that phrased once at some business event I was at that I can't recall, but somebody from stage said, you win or you learn. And I loved that reframe. Like this whole idea of failure is loss. Failing means that you're a loser. Like I rebel against the idea that failure is your identity. It's just an event. It's a thing that's going to happen. So just embrace it, let it wash off your back. Be a little ducky that's paddling furiously underneath while looking calm and smooth on the surface. That's what we're doing.
It's very much the case. And if you're owning your own business, things aren't always going to work out the way you wanted them to work out. And you can either choose to learn from it or wallow in it. Okay, so maybe wallow for a little bit with some ice cream and some Netflix, but then get up and find the lessons in it and change paths or find something else to try. Just experiment.
Yes. I love that. Experiment, detach yourself from the outcomes, try stuff just to see what happens. Be open to the possibility that if it doesn't work out the way that you want, it may work out even better than you wanted. I think that's been one of the biggest discoveries of my business that like, so for instance, I'll give you an example. I had an event that I had on site in Vegas earlier this year, and that was my first event. I've advertised many events. I have been on site as staff for many events, and still nothing could prepare me for running my own the first time. A lot of good learning, a lot of feeling like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was lamenting to a friend who's now a business partner about how I just felt stuck and there were a bunch of things I didn't do that I didn't know how to do. So I started complaining one day about, I just want to go into high-end consulting for a while. I want to level out the income. It's great work for me. It's very easy for me to do because I'm very knowledgeable in that space, but I suck at selling myself. And I struggle every single time. I'll walk it back. I'll make it sound like I don't know what I'm doing. It's bizarre. And she gets on and she goes, oh, I can sell things all day. I can sell things in my sleep. I love cold calling people. I love closing 5-figure deals. What I suck at is boundaries. I will let them scope creep me until I hate life. And I will never take another sales call again because I just fear the work so much. And I was like, oh, sis, I got you on boundaries. My best friend tells me I have a way of inviting people to go to hell and having them thank me for the privilege. I was like, just super over the top nice, but telling them how it's going to be. And this is great. I love you. This is how it's going to be. And that was when we realized, maybe we should be working together on this. And that started us down this whirlwind journey. Like we launched 4 simultaneous offers at the same time. That's been a learning experience. We worked some really long days to get all of this stuff live, but like all of that happened from a place of being willing to admit, here's where I'm struggling. Man, this really kind of sucks. I wish I could find a better solution. And then being open when it appeared in front of me and going, well, did a solution just fall in my lap? That's kind of crazy.
It's exactly the case for me when I first started out my business. Of course, when you first start, you're like, I got to have the clients and I can't turn anybody down. I got to take everybody, even if they're not the right fit. And I had a client that was a referral and the discovery call seemed to go well. There was a little niggling in my brain that maybe we weren't quite the right fit, but I'm new. I've got to take them. And it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that we were not the right fit. The way she liked to do business and communicate, et cetera, was just not the way that I work best. And it came to a point where I had to make the decision. Was I going to continue to work with her, or was I going to let her go and send her on with some recommendations for someone else? And I had to do that mindset work of it's okay, because I can continue to push through and work with her and use up space in my calendar and my schedule for her when somebody else could come in that is the right fit. And so we parted ways amicably, and I very quickly discovered this concept of launching and VIP days and being able to help people with that, and completely evolved my business simply because I was able to let go of something out of desperation and scarcity and open up my schedule and my time and my resources to new possibilities.
Oh, I love so many things about that. And I love that you said like operating from a place of desperation. I feel like that's today's theme with everybody that I'm talking to about getting your head on right. And, note that we're not talking about mindset in terms of like just, focus on your brain and think positive thoughts and everything will work out. There's always a combination of mindset plus action, plus an open-mindedness, willingness to get it wrong, willingness to learn from the experience. But one thing that was invaluable to me that I couldn't learn until after I'd actually taken the step was how pervasive that I need this to work attitude shines through in every conversation you're having, every move that you're making, to the point that people pick up on it. Like they can smell just ode to desperation wafting from your general direction. And it either turns them off completely because they sense that desperation, or they're the nasty, like, shark, I have the money that you want, so you're going to do whatever I want. I know how much you need it type person. And, so icky.
Well, and you're not, if you're in the scarcity mindset, the desperation mindset, you're in a fight or flight freeze mentality, really, which means your brain is not functioning as well as it could.
Yes.
And you're not going to be making rational decisions, and you're not going to be intentional about what you do. And you're just going to be grasping at everything and trying everything. And so you're going to be burning yourself out with actions that aren't going to provide the ROI that you're looking for.
Yeah, I love that you said that, fight or flight. It like shuts your brain down. It hijacks you, and it makes sure that you are not making decisions in either your best interest or your client's best interest. It's putting you into reaction mode instead of proactive mode, where you are deliberately and thoughtfully considering your options. Love it.
Yes.
And I think one of the best things one of my mentors told me one day was I was stuck in that hell. I think I had like 3 clients at the same time that were all of that kind of shark ickiness. They knew how badly I needed the money. I knew how badly I needed the money. I was terrified to let any of them go, but I was desperate to get out of that situation. My mentor tells me, fire all of them. And I was like, wait, what? And he goes, no, fulfill in the contract, deliver what you've promised. But after that, shut it down. No more work. Be out of there in the next couple of weeks. Don't let this drag on. Just get out. And it was amazing to me how much, and again, like this was the part to me that wasn't clear until it was looking back on the situation. As soon as they were in my rear view mirror, I saw my shoulders come down from around my ears. I felt the knots in my back start to relax. The stress over money was still there, but like they were sucking up so much of my energy that I couldn't even tell how tightly wound I was until afterward.
My clients actually know how much money in total I am bringing in and how much money I am spending, because every month I send out to my email list my full business review, which has my revenue and how my revenue comes in. It has how I spent my money. So what I paid myself, what my operating expenses were, how much I put aside for taxes, and being able to see what somebody just above them by a couple of levels is doing in their business, and how they're feeling about it, and what they're generating, and what they're spending, gives you more realistic expectations for your own business.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the impetus behind creating this show, because I could see folks at the beginning stages and the mindset issues that they were dealing with, the money, the very real money issues that were keeping them from starting a business. That's a huge risk when you don't have stable income. And I totally respect that, having lived in my car. It's a hard life and a hard choice to make. And then, they're following all of these folks who have super successful businesses, but who have been at it 5, 10, 15, 20 or more years. And of course, they're making $1 million launches because they've got a lot of data, a lot of failures, a lot of just past experience that's contributed to their success, and they've kept going. That's been my biggest frustration, because I come from that launch world. I know all these leaders that you have mentioned very well. And every time somebody came up to me and they were like, I need a launch like that, I would be like, all right, here's my series of questions. And through that series of questions, they find out at the end, I was like, well, do you need a launch like this? Because it sounds to me like you're not quite ready for that. And the series of questions was designed to point out to them, like, you need the huge list. You need the affiliate partners. It's mountains and mountains and mountains of sales copy and assets and all of it. Like, where are you investing in this from? Are you comfortable taking on that risk if this promotion doesn't do as well and you don't recoup all of that thousands and thousands you spend on creating the launch? And suddenly they go, maybe I don't need, but I know it needs a launch. And I go, okay, cool. Here's this one that's like about 1/10 of the work. And it might get you like 10 to 20% of what you're looking for with the multi-million-dollar launch. But the cool thing is we can run it over and over and over and over again and get you up to that launch with like way less work. That's been kind of the mission that I'm on with Permission to Kick Ass. Like, stop making it hard on yourself. Get out there and try things. Stop being your own biggest enemy. Oh my God, stop beating yourself up. Everybody here, stop beating yourself up. No.
Well, and you hear about the 7-figure launches or even the 6-figure launches, but you don't hear about what it costs time and energy wise. They don't follow up with, oh, and by the way,
Mm-mm.
we had a team of 10. We planned this for 6 months and it
Yep.
cost us this much money.
Mm-hmm.
When you're new in your business, be happy with 2 or 3 people in your first program, maybe 5 or
Yes.
10. That is successful, and you learn a lot from
Mm-hmm.
your small little group of people. It's an intimate group. You can ask all kinds of questions. You can get all kinds of feedback. The more people you have, the less you can really be one-on-one and connected to what they're going through. And so you can continue to build from what you learn with your first groups.
And that's a natural progression that I find so much comfort in, especially for folks that are considering entering this like online education, wisdom, coaching, business type space where you're training others in some capacity, whether it's training programs, courses, downloads, whatever. That one of the easiest sales to me, and I mean that in the like truest, purest sense of the word, I'm selling something to somebody that I know is going to really help them. And they turn around and go, that is the best purchase I've ever made of my life. That's the kind of sale I'm talking about. Is one person, me, to one person, you, and going, hey, I've got something to help with that. And I'm still building this thing, so I could actually use your help if you want. I was going to charge this much, but if you join me for this much, then we'll work together directly. You can give me some feedback on how to build this program. I'll make it even better for the next round. And then you're like my founding member, and I want to blow you away so that you want to give a great testimonial. Like that's how all of this happens organically, one step at a time. You don't go from zero to multi-million-dollar launch. You just don't.
You don't. You don't. And you have to remember that as you go along, your business is going to evolve. How you serve people is going to evolve. In the short time that I have been in business for myself, I cannot believe the amount of shifts and changes that have happened just as I am learning about myself as a business owner, just as I am learning about myself as a consultant, and just as I'm learning about who it is I actually like working with, because that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
bonuses about being in
Oh,
business for yourself is you get to pick who you
yes.
work with. You get to say yes or no. And that is amazing to me right there. I get to
Mm-hmm.
choose to work with people that I connect with, that I love. I have one client, we will literally just get on Voxer to talk about Marvel movies and comic book
Yes.
heroes because it's both of our passions. I have another client who we just are snarky, and that's just
Mm,
who we are. We're both Midwesterners that just have the Midwestern snark. And so these are people that I enjoy connecting with, not just as clients, but just as human beings. And I can't say that
yes.
about some of my, W-2 jobs.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've been in jobs like that before where they're like, you want to hang out at a bar after work? I'm like, no, our friendship extends to the front door, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hanging out with you. But the opposite is true with a lot of my clients. I think that the first time I recognized that was at some business meeting or another that I got invited to. And afterwards, I got invited to sit with a small group at like a table and chair cluster at the bar. And somebody brought over drinks and like a charcuterie board, and we just started playing games. And I noticed that like one set of people off to my side had started talking about, oh, here's this cool thing that I'm working on. Oh, I can help you with that. And they started getting deep in conversation. And the thought occurred to me, this is business. Business is being done. I'm drunk in a bar playing a game and there's business happening next to me. Why have I been over here like, oh my gosh, I need to spend on ads. I need to do cold calls. I need to do cold emails. I'm really good at showing up and playing games in a bar with people and talking business. Maybe this is my prospecting method. It turns out it's true.
Your zone of genius right there.
It's funny. My partner and I laugh all the time because I make it sound like some of my best stories involve booze. So of course it sounds like I'm just going out there and drinking with everybody every day. Actually, don't drink all that much, guys. I know, for a show called Permission to Kick Ass. But I think it's hilarious that we have made it up. And I blame myself. I blame marketers. It's our fault. Business is complicated and there are proprietary systems. And if you buy mine is the solution. The solution is be a human and try things and connect with other humans and genuinely be interested in figuring out how you can help them, whether you can help them, versus seeing them as a wallet with legs.
Mhm. Very much, very much. One of the conversations that I've been having a lot lately is this idea of, oh, you mean I'm allowed to?
Mm-hmm.
and giving yourself permission. And so in that situation, it's almost like oh, you mean I'm allowed to serve both? It's
Yeah,
okay that I do that? Or it's allowed
absolutely.
to have a launch that doesn't look like anybody else's launches?
Mhm.
Yes. And you know what? You might stand out more then if your launch looks nothing
Yes.
like anybody else's.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. That's my favorite thing that we have said on the show so far, and we've said so many great things. All right, we know the show is called Permission to Kick Ass, but some people still listening are still like, yeah, that's great for you, Angie. That's great for you, Jackie. Not for me. I mean, I have a way of doing things. Could you try things? Could you follow your instincts and be like, well, that thing that the guru says doesn't make sense to me. What if I tried it like this? That's how great things happen. And exactly like Jackie said, you stand out. Oh my gosh. So many people don't know how much time I spent in corporate trying to wear suits, trying to do makeup and hair and like fit in and blend in with everybody. And every once in a while I'd get excited and I'd say, fuck. And everybody in the office would go and clutch their pearls. And I just realized that I was not fitting in. But it was so funny wearing this mask. It came off at a bar at a conference, of course. And I'm in my button down jacket. I'm there looking totally professional. I'd like to meet some people that could become prospective clients. I'm going to sit here and make some connections. I had one drink too many, I think, and we were talking about our favorite concerts. And I wound up telling a story about getting in a mosh pit fight in my 20s. And immediately after that story came out of my mouth, I went, oh my God, was that the wrong thing to say? But the weirdest thing happened. I watched everybody around me. And of course, they can't see the video right now, but they just leaned in and they went, who are you? I thought I knew who Angie was, but this person is really interesting. Tell me, do you have other mosh pit stories? And I was like, yeah, unfortunately, I do. And they're going to make me sound like a crazy person. But that was the beginning of this de-evolution almost from like what I thought people wanted me to be, what I had to be professional, into permission to kick ass, get out there and be yourself and do it differently.
Mm-hmm. Very much, very much.
I love this. And I want to circle back to something that you said earlier about having the courage to walk away and let go of a client and trust that something else was coming, because I love this concept. It was something I struggled with at the beginning too, because it feels like you can't let go of one thing until this other one has come to a conclusion of some sort. And it has been the opposite for me. I figure you'll appreciate this as a scientist. My mentor told me it was the concept of nature abhors a vacuum.
Yep.
And soon as you create space for something like, say, letting go of a bad client so that a bad fit client, we'll be specific there, so that a good fit client can come in and fill that space. But that space won't be available until you make it. And you could miss the new client entirely if you don't make that space.
Yes, yes. You also have to leave the vacuum there for a little bit. Don't quickly fill it up with, random productivity tasks just so that you're busy. Just leave that space open so that the right thing can fill. Mm-hmm. It's very much that.
Resist the shiny object syndrome. You don't need another course. You don't. You need quiet time and to learn to trust your gut. That's what you need.
You may even need a nap.
Yes. A nap or a snack or both. A walk in the sunshine.
Which is another positive thing about your own business is I've built my business so that as the daylight is dwindling, I can go out in the middle of the day for my hikes. Yes. Instead of having to wait till I've clocked off for the end of the day. You know what? I can come back to my desk afterwards. My time is my time. I get to choose how I spend it.
I love that. And I love that concept of choosing how you spend it. Because I still think that a lot of us, especially in the entrepreneurial world, have this concept of I have to earn this thing that I want. I have to do a certain amount of work before I've got the privilege to do this. That first realization came to me when I wanted to do this long, luxurious morning routine. I wanted like 2 hours to get up and get ready, have my coffee, listen to some music, write in my journal, all of that stuff. And I kept telling myself someday when I've achieved things, but I didn't ever define what the things were. And then someday it just clicked. I could do this now. And then I learned about the beauty of Parkinson's law, which is, okay, I've decided I get up at this time and I start work at that time. And all of the work happens once I have gotten to work for the day. And now I've created this wonderful little container that the work fits into. And I'm not working from the moment I get up to the minute I go to sleep. It's been lovely.
Yes, yes. I bookend my work days. So I have my 2-hour morning routine, but that's more like a personal yoga. And I have lots of
Mhm.
chickens, so they get my attention. But I found because I work from home, I was having a really hard time defining my workday. And so it was bleeding
Mhm.
into areas where I wanted to be spending it with time or with family or such. So I have a very short 20-minute daily startup routine, and I have a daily wrap up routine that's also 15 to 20 minutes. Plus, I
Mm.
set a timer for 15 minutes to let myself go scrolling through Instagram. So that is what I need in my brain to be like, here's the start of your workday, and here is the end of your workday.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. This is fantastic. I'm writing down so many awesome things. I want to circle back to another thing that you said too, which was it just stood out to me because you were like, I'm starting as a VA. I'm doing all these tasks. I'm discovering that I don't like it, right? The grand experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people over here asking me for something. What clicked for you to where you decided, oh, they're asking me for it. I can just go do that thing. I want to go do that thing.
I don't remember how I found it. I think it was Pinterest, actually. I think I was bored one evening and scrolling through Pinterest, and online business manager popped up, like how to be an
Mm,
online business manager. I was like, what is that? I wonder what that is. And I clicked on it and I was like, that's what I'm actually doing right now. And that's what my
hmm.
clients keep asking me to do. There's an actual job and a title and a thing that people do that's like
Yes.
this. Um, so I just fell down the rabbit hole. I am a lover of research rabbit holes. They are my thing.
Hmm.
And discovered that this was the route to go. And in that process, found a certification program because I'm also a forever student and give me grades and
Same.
stars. So I took the certification program and quickly found that I'm a task doer in so much as I want to test my strategy and the process that I have developed. And once I have honed that process, I'm done. Like somebody
Hmm.
else needs to take it over. And it's kind of the same way with, unfortunately, with clients. I'm like, I like helping a lot of people. And once I have you going, I feel like I'm done. Like, let's hand it off to somebody else.
Maintenance
So
mode.
exactly. So that's where things like packages, where I can come in for a short period of time and help you out, or I can do a VIP day with you, is where I then went to. And I know that a lot of people, when they hear OBM, they think of the retainer long term. And I'm like, no, what I'm really doing is consulting on your business and helping you come up with strategies. And so while I consider myself an online business manager, I'm really more of a consultant and strategist because I'm
Mm.
not in there for the long haul for most of my clients. I'm there to help you get things the way you want it to be, running smoothly, giving you a team that you need, and then I'm out of there so I can help somebody else.
Oh, I love that. I mean, that circles back beautifully to what you said about being able to do it differently, wanting to do something differently, and then adding in this beautiful undercurrent of I know how I work best, right? It's no secret to anybody on this show, I think, that I'm a little ADHD. And that's exactly why I travel with this little hexagon shaped timer that has minutes on each side so that I can buckle down and do the tasks and I can execute on them very fast. Thank you, hyperfocus. ADHD is a superpower. And then I can go do something else that lights up my soul. Take a walk, take a nap, play with my cat. I'm visiting with my friends who have this cute little. She's a mix between a French bulldog and a Boston Terrier, and it's called a Frenchton. And it's so funny. If I'm sitting on the couch, she'll climb up on the couch behind me and drop a ball on my neck. And that's, that, my friends, when a small dog or a small child drops a toy into your lap, you go play with that dog or that child. Just go do it. Just go do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes, you'll be much happier if you do.
Yes, right. The business can wait. There is no task so urgent that, you got to put off living your life for it. And
Yes.
it's taken me so long to learn that. I just want to shout it from the rooftops. And it won't make sense until it does for you. So if you disagree with me right now, no shame in that game, no shade, no judgment, but maybe just sit with it because I have a feeling one day the right ball is going to fall in your lap and you're going to go, oh, that's what Angie meant. That's what Jackie meant. It's time to go play. This can wait.
Mm-hmm. Very, very much so. And if you're your own business owner, there's no boss standing over your shoulder asking you for a report by 5 o'clock. There's no
Right?
reason why you can't just be like, I'm going to take time to pet my cat and cuddle on the couch. And me, I'm like, Thursday mornings for a while there didn't start until after I got a chance to watch She-Hulk. Nothing happened until
That's
I watched
great.
She-Hulk. So, and now it's like, what new Disney TV show is out? I'm taking a lunch break so that I can watch that one. So
Oh my gosh, you're a Disney nerd too. I
very
heard you
much so.
talk about oh god, you have to meet my business partner because I'm like she moved down to Orlando for a reason, and that reason is to be near the theme parks. And we definitely go to Disney all the time. We're going to Disney on Friday. And I love it because I am a giant Disney nerd. And that is I'm wearing my Expedition Everest t-shirt right now.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, this is fantastic. Well, I do have an interesting question for you because, like, we heard a little bit about the evolution and kind of the learning and unlearning and the mindset stuff. But if you could go back in time and talk to younger Jacki as she's figuring out all of this stuff, what would you say to yourself? Like, what kind of advice would you have?
One of the things that I have really taken to heart recently that I wish I had known sooner was that I am responsible for making the money in my business, and I can do that however I want to, and I can be really damn creative about it. So
Yes.
if it's a slow revenue month, figure it out. I
Mhm.
have discovered, oh, you know what? I could just create a new offer. Or I
Yeah.
can reach out to a past client and say, hey, do you need a strategy session or whatever I want to? Or you know what? If it really comes down to it, I could go get a part-time job if I had to.
Mhm.
But don't worry about the bottom line because you just need to be creative about
Mhm.
making the money, and don't limit yourself and give yourself permission. Yes, you are allowed to do it.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I mean, think back when you were a kid and you got to create whatever you wanted and sell it for money. Like, we've heard the lemonade stand model, but I was that kid again, ADHD early in childhood. I was making like the little woven keychains and all kinds of the crafty pot holders that you weave. And I have no idea what the profit margin on any of that stuff was because my mom bought all my supplies. But I felt like a baller walking around with like $10 in change in my pockets because I sold a bunch of friends keychains.
Yep. Yep.
And you get to do that. You get to just make it up and say, this is what I'm going to sell instead of crawling into a boss's office and saying, hey, the cost of living has gone up, but my salary hasn't. Could we talk?
And then tucking your tail and walking back out because they said no.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I was very, very glad that when I had that conversation, in retrospect again, that they said no to everything that I asked for. I was so devastated and heartbroken that I consider myself to be a top performer, and I can look at all of the impact that I've had on this company's bottom line, and they can't give me more than a 6% one time a year raise, and that's for a perfect review. I was like, all right, well, if that's how you feel about a top performer, I'm going to take my skill to make millions of dollars and go do it for myself. Screw you very much.
Exactly.
And look at this. As you're going out to bars and to talk about Marvel movies and to be snarky and do all of these things and connect with people, you're building this huge, glorious network of people that are happy to help you build something. I think that was one of the most pleasant surprises of my life, that it was like, I like this person. I want to help them. Ooh, here's something that you're really good at. Have you ever thought of making an offer around this? Let's figure out what that offer is. Entrepreneurs are some of the most generous people I have ever met in my life, and it makes me thrilled to call myself one.
And that's a lesson that I learned about the idea of helping others. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to ask for the referrals.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are somebody that has referred a service provider to somebody that you know, and it worked out and it's been helpful to them, you've helped somebody that you generally, you respect and you like. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Right?
So
and you look like a total well-connected rock star.
Exactly.
That was a mind bender too, because I came into business thinking like we're all in competition for this one pie. And the more of us start competing for it, the tinier the slice is getting. Maybe I'm not even going to get a crumb. But I've started realizing that with more people, hey, just bring more ingredients. We're going to build the Guinness World Record breaking pie. There's going to be enough pie for you to drown in, my friend. It's going to be fine. We're just going to work together on this. And that positioning has been fantastic. I look like a well-connected rock star. I look like the person who knows the person that you need so that your business can get off the ground. And I don't have to work with people that I don't like or whose businesses I can't help because I've got friends that can help them. Win, win, win. It's fantastic.
Win for everybody. Yep.
Yes. Oh, man, this has been a fantastic conversation. For right now, tell us a little bit more about where to find your business and how they can be one of those clients that works with you.
They can find me at JackiHayes.me, and that's JACKI, no E, HAYES. And on that page, they can sign up for my email newsletter so they can get those monthly reviews that I was talking about. But there's also a place where they can sign up and get my launch timeline generator. It's a spreadsheet that actually does all the math for them when it comes to launching their programs and they're creating their timelines.
I love that. I'm going to have to go sign up for that thing. I kind of like it, not going to lie. Oh, it has been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I do part two, my friend.
I hope so. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
That's all for now. If you want to keep that kick-ass energy high, please take a minute to share this episode with someone that might need a high-octane dose of "you can do it." Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Permission to Kick-Ass podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you stream your podcasts. I'm your host, Angie Coley, and I'm here rooting for you. Thanks for listening, and let's go kick some ass.